If you're new to Madden or just haven't played the game in a while, these are 10 beginner tips you need to know. And even if you've watched some of these videos in the past, there's some crucial changes to the game this year, so make sure to pay attention. Number 1, passing 101. There's 3 types of passes you can throw in Madden 25. The first is going to be a lob pass, which you get by just tapping the receiver's icon. It's going to throw a deep pass over the top just like this. This is the type of pass you want to throw when you have a streak going deep and you're just trying to get past the defense for a huge play. And you can even use this over the middle if you've got the defender beat and there's just a ton of room to run. You can throw it out in front just like that. The next type of pass is called a bullet pass. You get this by holding down the receiver's icon. This will have the QB throw the ball as hard as he can. This is really good for trying to fit the ball into tight windows, as you want to get the ball to the receiver as quickly as possible. And it's also good for the quick hitting routes like this, a quick out route to the sideline. Now the last type of pass is called a touch pass, and it's more of a loft. What you want to do is you want to hold down the receiver's icon for the slightest second and then let go. This is going to be in between a lob and a bullet. This can be good for deep routes over the middle where you're trying to get it over the linebackers but in front of the safeties. You want to kind of drop it into the bucket. Now when you're passing the ball, you can also lead the pass with your left stick. So for example, this slant route to the X receiver, if he had a defender on him and he had a step in front of him, I would want to lead this pass to the right. So what I would do when I go to pass it is I would hold the left stick to the right while bullet passing it, and that would put it out in front away from the defender. You can also hold up to lead over the top on deep passes like this to make sure that you get it out in front of the receiver. Now to go along with this, there are different types of catch options. You can do a rat catch by holding down the X or square button depending on your system. This will tell your receiver to catch it in stride and keep running. These are really good to use on those lob passes over the top like I just showed, or a side to side pass like this where you want to catch it out in front and keep running down the field. You can also do what's called a possession catch by holding down the A button on Xbox or the X button on PlayStation. This is really good to use near the sidelines. It'll tell your receiver to make sure he gets the feet in bounds. But this is also really good over the middle of the field if the coverage is tight and you want to catch the ball and get down and not take any hits. So right here, if there was tight coverage, I would hold A or X and he would go down. You can also do an aggressive catch, which is the Y or triangle button, and this will just tell your receiver to jump up in the air and attack the ball at its highest point. This is good if you're trying to win a 1-on-150 ball, but it's risky. And new this year, they have a spectacular catch button, which is the LB or L1 button, where the receiver will do a one-handed grab, but keep in mind he can drop it easily. This does increase his catch radius and allows him to maybe get a ball that's a little off target, but keep in mind this is more so to show off. It's not going to work in coverage a lot. Now lastly, to be a good passer, it's very important to try to climb the pocket to the best of your ability and get the ball out quick. You don't want to instantly try to scramble, because then you run into situations like this where you can get hit by the edge rusher. And you don't want to drift too far back like this, because this could also make your blocking worse and it makes your passes less accurate. You want to try to step up as much as you can, not be afraid, and this will help you get the ball out quicker and more accurately. Always take your quick routes if they're there. Don't look deep every play, because that's how you wind up getting sacked and throwing picks. Number 2, how to run the ball. First, let's talk about the important ball carrier moves. If you want to sprint, you want to hold down the right trigger or the R2 button. This will get your running back to top speed. Now you need to know about the important ball carrier moves as well. So the first one's going to be the juke, which you get by flicking the right stick to the left or to the right. That will tell the running back to juke in that direction. To perform a spin, you want to hit the B or circle button, and honestly, this is the better move in this year's game. The spin works pretty well in this game. If you want to attempt a hurdle, you press the Y or triangle button, and this will have you try to jump over a defender if they go low. Now when running the ball, it's important not to hold down that sprint or turbo button behind the line of scrimmage. This is why a lot of people have trouble running. You want to just maneuver with the left stick, and you want to try to get easy yards. If you hold down that sprint or turbo button behind the line of scrimmage, you're going to cause quicker block sheds. You want to hold it down once you get into the open field and have some breakaway room. This is a bad habit that a lot of people have. Like right here, this is where I want to hit the sprint button when it's wide open and I'm at the second level. Again, this is a bad habit a lot of people have. It's something they're used to doing all the time, but you have to get used to only maneuvering with the left stick. This will improve your running game a lot, as you're going to have a lot better blocking and you'll get more opportunities to get into the open field to use that sprint button and breakaway, just like this. Once I have a little outside leverage, then I hit sprint and I try to get moving. If you're still here and finding value from this video, I do want to let you know that I also have a membership where I post all of my ebooks, my highest level offensive and defensive strategies, and crazy glitches that pop up from time to time to help you stay ahead of the meta and win more games. I'm currently running a limited time free trial, and you can check it out in the pinned comment below. Number 3, how to beat man defense. Now this year they took away one of our best man beating hot routes, which was the zig. This is going to make it a little harder this year, but we have some different options. One of the easiest routes you can look for in your playbook is going to be an angle route or a Texas route to your halfback that looks like this. These typically do a good job at beating man because linebackers don't have good man coverage and they're usually matched up on your running back. And this is what it'll look like. He's going to run out, run back in, and you can see it is crazy separation for easy yards. yards. Another great man-beating route is going to be a comeback route, which our X receiver is on. Now, some plays have this stock, but you can also hot route this by pressing the wire triangle button, selecting his icon, and then you select the comeback option, which is going to be the left trigger on your hot route wheel. This is a route that you definitely want to get in practice mode and practice the timing of, because it is a very specific timing, but if you time it up right, he will always beat the defender. Let's show it one more time here just to show the consistency of it, and you will see that if you time this up right, the defender doesn't have a chance. Now, we can also hot route a post this year by pressing wire triangle, selecting the receiver or the tight end, and we can go up on the right stick, and you can see here that post route is going to do a really good job at beating man. We'll show it to you right here. As he cuts, he's going to create separation, and that's what you want to do. Try to hit that post route for an easy gain. Now, crossing routes do a great job at this as well, so you can look in your playbook, and there's going to be tons of crossing routes. So the Y receiver is on a deep cross, the B receiver is on a little bit more of a shorter cross, and these are going to also be very consistent options against man, especially if you have a good receiver. Hey, if you're still here at this point of the video and you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead, subscribe, turn the bell icon on. That way you never miss out on any of the best Madden tips all year long to help you win more games. It does help the channel out a ton, and I appreciate it. Number 4, how to beat zone defense. A tried and true method for beating zone defense is called a flood. Now, the best way to do this is to have a formation with 3 receiving options on the same side of the ball, preferably out of a bunch type of set, because it works even best. So you can see we are in a gun bunch here. We have 3 receiving options all next to each other. You want to have one of them on a streak, one of them on a corner, and one of them on a flat. Now, it's also useful if you can motion out the streak and put him on the sideline. So to do this, you press B or circle, and this will move your cursor around. Once you get on the receiver, you want to motion. Here we want to motion him right, so we would press right on the D-pad, and that's going to push him out like this. This will beat most combinations of zone defense in the game, because what you're going to do is clear out the deep zone, and then you have to read the defense. Either the corner will be open or the flat will be open. So right here, for example, we're going to see they're playing back. We're going to hit the tight end. We're going to go pick up about 4 or 5 yards, and we live to see the next play. Now here you're going to notice if they play harder to the flat, what we're going to do is then hit the corner route deep down the sideline. And the great thing about this is you could hot route this into any play, because we have corner routes as a hot route option now. So we put the outside receiver on a streak, which is wire triangle, select his icon, and then up on the left stick, we put the middle guy on a corner by pressing wire triangle, selecting his icon, and in this case, we're going to go right stick to the right for the corner option, and then we could take that tight end, do the same hot route stuff there, put him on a flat by pressing the left trigger, and we're able to create this concept. I also really like using plays like mesh to beat both man and zone, because the 2 drag routes underneath are going to do a good job at getting open against both. Unless they shade their defense down, these 2 drags should be open pretty much every play for some easy catch and run yards. Number 5, defense 101. The first thing you need to know about defense is you don't want to call your play until your opponent calls his play if you're a beginner. Once your opponent picks a play, it'll pop up on the screen their personnel. So it could say 3 receivers, 1 tight end, 1 running back, for example. What you want to try to do is match your personnel on defense. So if they're coming out in 2 or less wide receivers, you want to run a 3-4 or a 4-3, because this is going to have more guys in the box. They're more likely to run the ball, and you want to have the right personnel on the field. If they're coming out with 3 receivers, you want to choose some type of a nickel set. This is going to put a 3rd cornerback on the field to match that 3rd receiver. If they're coming out in 4 receivers or more, you're going to want to use something like a dime set, as it's going to put an additional cornerback on the field to match up. Now, in terms of coverages for a beginner, cover 2 man is going to be one of the best things you could do, especially in the game this year, because man does play a lot better than zone. Zone is kind of a little weak right now. This is going to be the safest coverage, because everybody's going to be manned up, and you're going to have 2 deep zones over the top to help you from getting beat deep. Now, if you do want to run zone, you want to look at things like cover 3. Cover 3 is going to be typically a safe defense, although zone isn't the greatest this year. Just make sure you're calling something like cover 3 sky or mixing in a cover 3 cloud. You don't want to do cover 3 match, because that's going to be a slightly different, and you don't want to mess with that. And then you also have Tampa 2, which can be pretty good as well. This will kind of keep a lot of stuff in front, force them to dink and dunk, and if they want to go deep, they're going to have to really fit the ball into a tight coverage. Just make sure you're using Tampa 2 and not cover 2 hard flat. Tampa 2 is going to be your best bet. Number 6, how to blitz. If you want to send a blitz occasionally at your opponent, you want to do a man blitz. So you're going to go to the concept tab, you're going to go to man blitz, and this will show you all of the man blitzes that are in your playbook. What you want to look for is a cover 0 blitz, because when you do send the heat, you want to get there quick. So you're going to want to look at a play that has 6 of those red arrows. That means you have 6 guys guys rushing the passer. So for example, Overstorm Brave right here has 6. Silver Shoot Pinch has 6. Mid Blitz 0, which is the most popular blitz in the game, also has 6. So for example, we're going to use Mid Blitz 0 here to show you what I'm talking about. Now, every playbook should have some kind of version of Mid Blitz, because all you got to do is go to your nickel, and you want to find the nickel formation that says double mug. You might have a regular double mug, you might have 2-4 double mug like I have, but most playbooks should have this. And when you go in here, you will have the Mid Blitz 0. Now, the reason this is a good blitz to throw at your opponent is because if you're catching them off guard and they're sending everybody out, you're going to have 6 rushers versus only their 5 offensive linemen, meaning you have an extra guy that's unaccounted for. The only thing you want to make sure here is that make sure you grab the safety that's on the running back and line him up, because you don't want him to be misaligned. Now, you could either user the running back yourself, which is what I recommend, or if you're just kind of nervous and you like to play on the D-line, then you can just hop on the D-line, but it is going to be better if you can just take the running back yourself. And what's going to happen here is if they send everybody out, somebody's coming free and you're going to get to the QB pretty much instantly. Just mix this in from time to time, because if you do it too much, a decent player is going to catch on, he'll block his running back, and then that's going to allow him to maybe buy some time and hit you for a big play like this. So you want to make sure you're mixing it in and trying to catch him off guard. Number 7, the best abilities. Now in this game right now, some of the best abilities are going to be the QB velocity ability. So these are things like Pass Lead Elite, Set Feet Lead, or Gunslinger. You're going to want to use teams that have these abilities because it's going to make it really hard on the defense, as the ball is going to get to the receivers even quicker. Also, running back abilities like Evasive are really good as well, because the spin move is really good this year and Evasive makes us even better. So the Jets are one of the best teams in the game right now because they have a velocity ability on Aaron Rodgers, but they also have Breece Hall, who has the Evasive ability. And on the defensive side of the ball, things like Edge Threat for your pass rushers are going to help them shed blocks quicker and get to the QB, which can make defense a lot easier. And also, if you have any players on defense with a knockout ability, whether it be a deep route knockout, a short route knockout, a deep zone knockout, whatever the case may be, these abilities will play better in their coverage, and they knock the ball out of receivers' hands pretty often, which can create a lot more incomplete passes to help your defense. Number 8, accident prevention. There's a lot of little things you can do to help yourself win games. The first is going to be making sure to slide with your quarterback. When you're running with your QB, you want to tap the X button on Xbox or the square button on PlayStation. Do not hold the button down all the way. You just want to tap it, and make sure you leave yourself enough room to slide, and this is going to prevent you from fumbling with the QB. You can also do this with your other players as well. If it's late in the game and you want to prevent a fumble, tap X or square. He will go down and protect the ball. Now, on the opposite side of this, if you're playing someone that's scrambling a lot with the QB, especially side to side, you could put your outside pass rushers into a QB contain by pressing the RB or R1 button twice. This is going to tell them to contain the edge. Now, this isn't foolproof. It doesn't work perfect every time, but usually this is what's going to happen. You'll hit the QB for a loss of yards. Another thing you can do is put a player into a QB spy. So I'm on my linebacker here. I can press the A button on Xbox or the X button on PlayStation and then go left on the right stick. Now he's in a QB spy, and his whole job is to just watch the quarterback. So I'm going to bring these other guys in here because I don't want them to get out here and be able to affect the passer. I just want you to see the spy, how the spy is going to follow him the entire way, and he's going to be there if we try to run to limit him. Number 9, audibling. This can really take your game to the next level when you pay attention to what your opponents are doing. So right here, let's say I came out in a pass play, but I noticed the box is a little weak. There's only 5 guys in the box. The D-line is kind of spread. This could be an easy running situation. So I could press the X button on Xbox or the square button on PlayStation, and this will pull up the audibles for my formation. You'll have a short pass, a run, a deep pass, and a PA pass typically. So I'm going to go to my run because, hey, the inside looks a little weak. And you'll notice here I'm able to pick up some easy yards because I identified a weakness in the defense. Whereas let's say they got a lot of people in the box like this. Let's say they're worried about the run, for example. So they're bringing a lot of people into the box like this. And I came out in a run play. Well, now I could say, you know what? Let me audible to a passing play. And I'm looking here and I'm saying, hey, that outside looks really open. I can probably hit B in the flats. And I make the read, I can see, okay, that's a quick pass for about 4 yards. But another thing you can do with your audibles is you can actually change formations by clicking left or right on the D-pad, and this will let you audible to any formation that has the same personnel. So if you have a favorite play in another formation, you could audible between these, for example, and you can really throw off the defense because now they have to defend multiple things at once. Just make sure you leave time to do this because you need play clock time in order to switch formations. And if you want to make sure you always have your favorite plays at your disposal, when you first get into into a game, you can open up a formation and then you press the left trigger or the L2 button, and this will actually allow you to change your audible. So if you don't like to play slants, you could click that, and then you could pick a play that you like better. So maybe you like to play drive post, you could put that there instead. Number 10, learn how to scheme. You don't want to just use the same play over and over unless your opponent can't stop it. You want to try to mix multiple plays together in the same formation to confuse your opponent. Let's say you have a run play that you love to the right side of the field. Well, you definitely want to try to find one that can attack the left side, even if it means just simply flipping that run to the other side with the right stick pre-play. But you also want to make sure that you can find a good inside run in that formation as well, and if you can't find one, then you might want to move to a different formation. And then you want to try to find some pass plays that can attack each side of the field or the middle of the field as well. You also want to maybe find a play action play that plays off of the run that you like. That way you can constantly change up the play based on what you're seeing on defense, and you'll never have the defense keying in on one specific thing because they know they have to worry about a run this way, a run that way, a pass to the right side of the field, a pass to the left side of the field, a pass that attacks more so the middle of the field. Finding a formation where you can do all of these things together will set you up for big success on offense in Madden 25. Now that you've learned about all of the best beginner tips, you're halfway there. Next, you need to learn how to lock down on defense, and you can find that out in this video right here on the screen.